the hell is Joseph? What's he done? Who is he? You know, nobody knows. When Christ entered the world through the Virgin Mary, the first one who looked after that baby, who brought him in, was Joseph. You know, he cut the cord. The blood spilt on him. He's the one that washed it. He wrapped it up. He gave it back to the mother. He made sure that she was all right. Now, Christ is God. Christ is that divine nature. And Joseph must have been picked out for these qualities. We can think about lots of other characters and personalities of that particular period who were well documented and well recorded. And Joseph has stayed in the shadows. I mean, the donkey probably would have got to Bethlehem without him, is the impression I got in the church, you know. And in a way, it's a backhanded compliment to him, the fact that everyone has taken Joseph for granted. Here we have a fairly, very ordinary, but nevertheless very decent, basic, honest guy. The very substance, you know, of what society is about. That's what I'm trying to say with this. Right. I think it's all right. I think that arm, you're quite right.
Take that off.
Yeah, yeah. I've got all of it there. About 3 months ago, Father Collins of Kirby. And he said, Arthur, I'd like you to make a statue of St. Joseph for Kirby. I think the father wanted to make the man real. You get it all over your hands and clothes, and at least it's dry when it's arranged this way, you know. It goes on all right. The parish of St. Joseph the Worker in Kirby is not a wealthy parish. We decided on the materials because of the money. That's neat. We use fiberglass resin, mixing the colouring with it, rags, cardboard, wire. I like it. All right. You know, anything to hand. I think we better leave that now and let it dry off, you know.
Do the head, do the back of the head.
Well, yeah, let's do the head while we've got some left. Well, ultimately, it finishes up as a fiberglass figure. You know, it's waterproof, it'll weather all right, it's light, and comparatively speaking, it's very, very cheap. And so what was started off as a sort of sentimental journey to a sort of Father Christmas figure, with the old man with the beard who brought the goodies at Christmas. We finish up with the real man, brought the Christ child, had to bring the Christ child into the world at Christmas. Yeah. Right, we cracked that one. The first stage is the idea. You draw pictures in your mind. You make the model in your mind's eye. And so I start off by just getting a piece of wire and bending it vaguely into the sizes, shapes that I want.
The shoulder.
No, but yeah, well, we can do that in a minute. I make a skeleton, in a way. A shadowy outline. It's like a drawing with wire. There's something strange happens when you start making things. You put a name on, like, you know, and you call this Joseph. Right, I'll lash it on.
You're putting cloth on?
Yeah, at this stage, yeah, let's get the cloth on there. Let it harden up. It begins to take a life of its own. Something happens, and you're no longer talking about a collection of cardboard and wire, but you can refer to it by name. Let me do the legs, you know, give it time to dry. That's lovely, that. Say Joseph is looking well, you know, he's coming on good. And so discovering the man, historically, I think that's what's happening here, probably with this statue. Just drape it now. Right, we spread it out a bit, Steve. The threads are the collection of ideas. And what you've done is sort of mixed them together, put a catalyst in, and they've gelled. It's only to give us a rough idea, you know.
Yeah.
It's a kind of link between the real man and yourself, you know. If you can look at the statue as a kind of thesis about the man, within the thesis there are lots of smaller ideas, some of which contradict, but at least you've got something you can get your teeth into. Put the thingy on there, Steve, that muscle, you know. And for me, the thesis of Joseph, not Joseph, the thesis of Joseph is the work.
Pity Mary, isn't it?
No, no. I think it's good that Mary's not in this. Or the figure isn't, you know, a figure representing Mary, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
First of all, I don't think we could cope with it. You know, we've got enough
Costs
to do.
more.
Enough to do getting the one piece done. And I think...
The church is St. Joseph.
yeah, well, so much has been said about Mary, you know, for the last 2,000 years since I crossed born, they've been talking about Mary. And Joseph's been in the shadows. I think it's nice to make a definite statement about Joseph. And so Joseph is being revealed to me as a new man. All right, Steve, come down and have a cup of tea.
All right.
Having got to Bethlehem, now, Joseph must have suffered with that because he hadn't been married long enough for her to become pregnant. I mean, you know what small communities are like. My God, what he must have gone through. I've had enough.
Is it all right?
Yeah, he strikes me as a very manly man, a man full of courage. And the first thing is that he must have delivered the baby. And the birth of Christ was not only a triumph for Mary and for all of us, but it was a very personal triumph, I think, for Joseph, overcoming his own anxieties, his own pain, the muttering of neighbours. That took a real man. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt amongst us. And we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. The Bible, it's always there, it's always a reference. It's the written word, you know, which can refer us historically directly back. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt amongst us. These things are in my mind, and you're not thinking about them all the time. But sometimes when you meet a problem, these ideas sort of just pop up. These are just things that you know and become part of it. You know, they're in your bloodstream. And Joseph, he delivered the baby. He was offering up the first service for Christ in the world. Mary carried him, but Joseph took the baby and offered it to the world. And so we got, I suppose, the first Mass. Yeah, put it at the... Yeah, go on. No, no, no. Come forward a bit, Steve. Forward. Move it a bit to your left. Yeah, clear the fingers up.
On the fingers?
No, 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 no. Clear the fingers, take them above the fingers and come forward as far as you can. Now that's down a bit.
Fine.
I think we got it. What I'm looking for in the separation is the difference between the baby, who is God.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the baby isn't of the man, of Joseph.
This is
And
his
we've
father.
shown, yeah, we've shown the separation
Yeah, yeah.
in the space between them. Yeah. Although he has actually, he's been the midwife to Mary and brought the baby out. I think we've got the license to separate them there, to show the nature of the baby as different to the nature of the man. I made the cord because I believe the cord was important. We've got to prove that Joseph was there at the beginning. We want to prove that the baby was born of a woman, and he's born the same way as we were. This is an idea I came up with, yeah. I went and saw the caesarean operation, which is similar. And the analogy between that and the maths came through to me. It needed the cord. It needs the blood, you know. He bled. I think the blood is important from the idea of the Word was made flesh. We've got to show the flesh and the things of the flesh, which are blood. That's all right. It wasn't some tinselly thing with a paper star over it. You know, it was a real hard settle. And seeing how bright Christ was as a lad, it struck me that his grounding in that kind of thinking must have come from his dad, foster father. He was an elder in the synagogue, and I could see him talking to Christ and teaching him in the law of Moses. It's that worldliness and how the world operates that Joseph would know, that Mary wouldn't. But Joseph is the man. When the persecution started with Herod, I could see Joseph taking them to Egypt. I could see the young Christ associating with these people. Through Joseph and the journeys Joseph took about, this was Christ's education.
We see how it looks, you know, and if it doesn't work, we change it. But if it looks all right, looks like it's got something, we leave it.
Then came the chance to go back into Palestine.
No hard pass-throughs.
Joseph, I think, would avoid Bethlehem in that area, making for a place such as Caesarea. Ports have a wide view of the world, you know, I mean, like Liverpool or Hamburg. I think the opening up of Christ started there. The idea of the religion not being for a small, tight group. I could see him thinking of God in the widest terms, embracing all men, because he would have met a lot.
Well, so far.
So good.
He would have had a big view of the world, that lad. I think Joseph's part in that is fundamental. It's through him that he learned to find his feet in this world. And I think it's the age of Joseph now. You know, I think Joseph maybe has been waiting for his place in society. I think this Joseph and child is probably the most important single figure I've ever made. I've discovered something myself. He's given something to me on the history of my own church. His courage and the role that he filled is a great example to me as a father. This man out of history, who's not so big, but you find that the more you look into him, the bigger he gets and the more important he becomes. And it's that father's role, that man who bound the family together, to be able, in my way, to put it together and to put him on show and say, look what we've found on the wall, there he is, come and have a look. What a fella, you know. What a man he was.